Hey, we're at RAPID TCT Boston. Everyone says 3D printing is the future, so we went to one of the biggest shows in the world to try and find it. We're going to start with one of the most visually insane things we saw at the show. Rapid liquid print is basically rethinking how 3D printing works entirely. Instead of building layer by layer, they're printing inside a gel suspension, which lets them create soft, flexible parts without any support structures. That means materials like silicone suddenly become way more practical in 3D printing. And honestly, seeing it in action is wild. Parts just form inside the tank like they're appearing out of nowhere. What really stood out was the applications: prosthetics, ergonomic seating, even fashion pieces. It's not just prototyping anymore, it's functional design. Right after that, we saw something completely different, but just as impressive. Mimaki is doing full-color UV inject 3D printing. Their 3DU J series can produce up to 10 million colors, and the crazy part is these prints come out fully finished. No painting or post-processing to get this type of contrast or transparency. It's used a lot in medical models, education, and high-end prototyping where color accuracy really matters. And they even had a gachapon-style dispenser where we pulled a super detailed little fancy wolf model. Next up, Pantheon, a Vancouver-based startup pushing industrial 3D printing forward. Their focus is making production-grade printing actually scalable. They claim that their HS Pro system can produce up to 2 kilograms per day of real parts, which adds up fast when you're talking production workflows. But the real attention grabber was their e-bike display. Everything here was printed on their machines, showing how far we've moved past just prototypes. At that rate, they can print a full bike in about a week. From there, we moved into full industrial territory with BigRep. These are large format machines built for production environments where size and throughput actually matter. They also previewed a pellet extruder system, which is a big shift towards higher volume manufacturing workflows. This is definitely not desktop printing anymore. This is factory level additive manufacturing. Creality had a lot going on, but the big one was their new SparkX i7 combo system. This is actually something we're going to be testing in the studio soon, so we're pretty curious how it performs in the real world use. They also had their filament maker M1 and recycler R1 on display, which is a pretty interesting direction for sustainability in printing. Unfortunately, they weren't running the machine during our visit, but the idea of recycling filament back into usable material is something we'd love to see more across the industry. From there, we moved into scanning with Shining 3D. They're a major player in 3D scanning and digital measurement systems, from handheld scanners all the way up to industrial robotic setups. We tried out their Einstar rocket, which is designed for fast, high-detail scanning. It's actually a product we carry at 3D Printing Canada, so it was cool to see it being used live on the show floor. I'm definitely excited to test this out more. If you got ideas for what we should scan, let us know. Fibre Seek is doing something pretty different in the printing space. They focus on continuous fiber reinforcement, where carbon fiber is laid into the print as it's being made. So instead of just plastic, you're getting a lightweight but extremely strong composite part. Their Fibre Seek 3 has already raised over $4.6 million on Kickstarter, and the demo parts were really impressive. Guitars, compound bows, things that really show the strength of their system. Next up was Snapmaker, and this booth was less about hardware specs and more about community. They were showcasing a bunch of modded community-driven projects, pushing their machines far beyond stock use. One standout was a fully functional coffee dispensing machine built on their U1 system. They also showed Snapmate, an open-source snap-fit system combining PIBA and PLA for reusable mechanical parts. And we also saw their upcoming U1 top cover, which integrated fan and HEPA filter. This one will be coming out later this year. What really stood out here during the Snapmaker exhibit was how open they're being with their ecosystem, leaning heavily into community-driven development instead of locking things down. We also stopped by the University of Waterloo, where their multi-scale additive manufacturing team was showcasing research projects. This is where a lot of early-stage innovation in 3D printing is happening. They're exploring new materials, processes, and manufacturing techniques that don't always exist in the industry yet. It's a good reminder that a lot of what we see on the show floor starts here first, in research labs and student projects. And honestly, we'd love to visit their facility sometime since it's not too far from us here in Canada. Prusa didn't have any major announcements, but their booth still had some interesting pieces. One of the standouts was the Prusa Signature Oak, a limited-run wooden frame core one that feels more like a design object than a machine. I believe this one only had a run of 250 units, so it was cool to see one in person. They also had their Prusa Pro AFS on display, their automated print farm system built for industrial workflows. Mosaic is taking a similar approach, but more focused on workflow orchestration. They're building systems that manage multiple printers at once, coordinating jobs across a production environment. So instead of just the printer, it's about the entire production system working together and reduces the need for human intervention when switching over build plates. While visiting Elegoo, we checked out their Centauri Carbon 2. We've recently started carrying it in our shop, and it's positioned as a more affordable entry into multicolor printing. It's part of a rapidly growing space, and we're looking forward to spending more time with it in the studio. And that's a wrap from RAPID TCT Boston. A lot of really interesting directions for where additive manufacturing is heading, from industrial scale production to completely new ways of printing materials. We hope you enjoyed watching this. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more from our channel. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you on the next one.